Oh boy, everything is laggy tonight. Hi everyone. How is everybody doing? Welcome to I forgot to change the title. Welcome to our 4th session of Witcher TTRPG. We are half missing a player tonight. Ariella is going to be in and out due to stuff, so...
Important Witcher things.
Important Witcher stuff, yeah.
When you gotta brew swallow, you gotta brew swallow.
Exactly.
So, without further ado, let's just introduce ourselves, those of us who are here, and we'll pick up where we left off 2 weeks ago. I have to admit, Ethan, this is exactly what my entire streaming thing is, trying to do better than the last fuck up. So let's start with Lauren. Who are you playing? Hi!
I'm Lauren. Sorry. You always talked over you. I'm Lauren. I'm in a weird mood today. I'm playing Ilona. She is an elf bard and who is running the hell away.
Next up, we have Steven.
Hey everybody, I'm Steven. I'm playing a knight, and that knight's name is Kahir Keritwin Defrin Epwetduir. I messed it up that time.
Almost there.
Yeah.
It's still worth a thumbs up. And our last player at the moment, Manny.
Hi, I'm Manny, aka Bag of Snails. I'm just gonna... Sorry, Simon.
No, that's cool.
And I'm playing Edric of Aedern, and we recently just killed a grave hag, and he's celebrating as one does by moping in a tavern, drinking by himself.
As it is tradition, after killing a grave hag,
Mm-hmm.
you either mope by yourself or you run out in the forest. Who wants to recap our last session? Who here remembers our last session?
I mean, I'll do it if nobody else wants to.
I can do it if you want. If you don't want to do it, Lauren.
I mean, I'm always interested to see other people because I often just do it because people don't remember. But
Oh no, I don't like the. I'm a Washingtonian, which means I never want to be impolite. So,
oh, okay.
no. But last session we closed in on the Beast of Oxenfurt, deduced that all of the skulls that we had found removed from the grave had been removed post-mortem. Like they were not killed for their skulls, but rather the graves were dug up specifically for that reason. And the ever brave Ariella tracked some trails that turned out to be ghouls' tracks to a kind of underground hollow / cave nest thing. After reporting to us, we decided to mobilize immediately and go take care of it, lest the skull circle be complete and any kind of horrific necromantic shenanigans happen. We then entered in and fought with the ghoul. Ilona peppered it with arrows through clever usages of rock removal, and here also acquitted himself finally. And inside, we discovered that the skull circle was created by a grave hag. Edric attempted to parlay with her, only to get like a face full of tongue. So that was a thing that happened. And we killed her, and when we went through the bodies looking for the body of the merchant family's son inside the pile, we found the King of Kedwin dead, having been killed by what only Alona knows to be Scoia'tael elves. There was some lovers quarreling and inappropriate remarks made by Ariella to Alona, and by inappropriate I mean inappropriately kind. And we discovered that Kahir and Alona ran off on their own to the woods. Edric, kind of sensing that something was off, lit everything underground on fire, saving only the apparently magical ring that the king had on it. But all the corpses have been incinerated through lots and lots of fire magic. He and Ariella had a falling out where Ariella completely marched off on her own. And then Alona and Kahir ran into a circle of ravens in the forest that spoke to them about some group that has noticed us and that we have stumbled upon their machinations. And I believe that's where we left off.
Yep, the 8 one-eyed ravens that spoke in unison.
They're called what? The Coalition?
If that was the name before, that was just a temporary name.
Okay.
But you can call them the Circle.
Okay. I wasn't sure because you were like, it's important, and then I proceeded to not write it down.
Yeah, it's okay. The Circle of
Wait.
8.
I was just about to say, is it the Circle of 8?
Yep.
Is one of them Mordekainen? I can't wait to...
Yes. Is
Yes.
one of them a Sirac?
It's a bunch of wizards from
Oh,
the
no.
Flanas. We're doing Spelljammer. We're not really playing The Witcher.
It's just, yes, the shenanigans.
I mean, yes, using the Witcher system, I'm gonna drop you guys in a D&D game where you score like 150 points of damage in one attack.
I mean, that's what Kahir's already done that.
Yep.
So
By the way, tonight we're using the new sheets by Leo the Dino. That's what you guys are using on Roll20. So we're not used to these sheets, so if ever there's like a bit of an issue, please bear with us. But the sheets are amazing. Hey, thank you, Praxagora Thesmophoria. I didn't mess up your username. Thanks for the bits. So, we'll start back in that clearing under the light of the moon. The 8 one-eyed ravens have flown away after delivering their somewhat foreshadowy speech.
yeah. I was too busy updating my sheet. Did Manny mention that full test is the next friend on the hit list?
Yes, and let's just remind everyone that the DM made a mistake last time, and Demavend is still alive and well, and King Henselt was the one you found dead. King Henselt of Kedwin. And they said that Foltest was next.
And a strange occurrence was that earlier in the day, we saw one 8-eyed raven.
Yep.
Now we've seen 8 one-eyed
Raven. The 8-eyed one, by the way, was a lot larger than a regular raven.
They can all meld together into one giant 8-eyed raven, and when they split apart, they only have one eye each.
So they're like Voltron, but creepier.
They're like creepy
Exactly.
Voltron.
A funeral of Voltron.
I had to look up what a flock of ravens was called. Because I was like, it's a murder of crows. What are ravens? An unpleasantness, or sorry, an unkindness, or a funeral of ravens?
Yeah. People really didn't like ravens.
Ravens are awesome. But not the ones that just left the clearing.
No, not these ones.
So Ilona and Kahir, you are both by yourselves.
I think the first thing Kahir does is sheath his sword. Never gotten to start a session like that before. And yeah, he turns to Ilona and I think helps her up. And says, "Are you okay?"
No. We have to go. This is now more than ever.
I agree, this is a lot. But I'm wondering if this is the right time to run away.
When would there be a better time?
I don't think there's ever a good time for running, Ilona.
But
Well,
you
I
don't
mean,
understand. They'll kill me. It
whoever,
doesn't matter if how much you explain. They'll just see that I'm an elf and they'll think I did it. Or maybe they won't think I did it and they'll kill me anyway because I'm an elf.
then maybe I'll save my breath and explain with my sword.
Then you'll die and that will be good for neither of us.
I fear that there is no running when it comes to, and he like looks up in the branches and he's like, them. Where could we go to get away from that?
I mean, they don't seem to be interested in us. They seem to be interested in killing Dwan kings, which, quite frankly, is not our problem.
But after the kings die, and they're all dead, then who's next? And after they die, and after they die, then who's next?
You don't know that that's going to happen.
I hate to see you hurting and confused like this, Ilona. I just wish I could give you some sort of hope, some sort of courage.
Then come with me.
I already said that I'd follow you anywhere. I just feel that we're wasting our time running away.
Then what should we do? What would you do?
He turns and paces for a while, kicking some underbrush, thinking, turns back and looks at you and he says, I don't know.
Exactly. There's nothing we can do.
Then the only option is to run. Is that what you're saying, Ilona?
I think it's the safest.
I feel that we need to let the others know, at least.
They'll be headed back to Oxenfurt soon. We can go ahead and leave a note at the lit candle and explain why we did what we did. We could even tell them about what we heard about the Raven, and Idrik is a detective. He's a good sort. He'll probably take care of this, and then we'll have done our part, and we can go continue on looking for your love.
He kind of smirks when you say looking for his love. You feel that I think he portrays, like, not through words but through actions, that's not necessarily on his mind right now. I don't know what to say to you, Ilona. If you want to run, I will follow you anywhere. I guess I just wanted to say I don't think that's the best option.
But you don't seem to have any other options to go on.
Maybe my pride stands in the way. Maybe Edric knows what to do. feel that together we're probably stronger than running. And not...
Sorry, continue.
That's okay.
Oh no, poor Jillian's internet. She's not even here. It's still raining, yes?
Yep. Well, it's not like pouring down, but it's like a light rain, yeah.
Well, perhaps we should at least get out of this rain.
It seems a good idea.
Perhaps Idrik hasn't told anyone.
I doubt he has. He's probably wasting away his sorrows in a pint of ale. Kahir walks up and holds his hand out, asking Ilona to come with him.
She'll take it.
Let's
All
head
right.
back to town for now.
Okay.
The two of you walk back to Brennick, where we'll cut away to Idrik.
Can
Yep.
can the scene be as they just walk into the tavern?
Sure. If there was nothing you wanted to do on your own before then.
Well, he's been drinking, so his normally like coiffed hair is just in his face and a mess, and he's sitting up like on a table, like kind of crouched in front of a bunch of the villagers, and you can tell he's doing his best like Redanian accent. And then we went down into the what do you call it there, the
Cave.
grave hag's lair. Yeah, and he's like kind of building up. It's like her tongue smashed me across me face. I'm far, and he's just like really embellished. He's like, I summoned so much fire that I burned her into a crisp. And this one, and then seeing that like Stephen Kierik walks in, he cut her in two with her sword. He's like, and he's been telling like this like lavish, extravagant tale of what happened. But like as he kind of sees them like walk in, and he's coming like to a finish, he's talking and he goes, "Now, that fire's so hot that you've got to wait at least 3 days before you go in. It's a shame about the corpses, though. I was only able to save the merchant boy. The rest were all cursed by the grave hag's evil magic. Had to burn them on this spot." Then he just chugs like what must be like his 5th or 6th pint of ale, and like standing upright, and then falls off the table.
And like two of the peasants immediately rush to your help to bring you back up, to lift you back to your feet. And they're like, hey, hero of Brennick, come on now. You can handle a bit of liquor.
Bring me another! And then he's just surrounded by people.
I look to whoever's standing to my left and say, sometimes I mistake him for a dwarf.
Miriam brings you, Idrik, another pint, and she also brings a glass of vodka to both Kahir and Ilona. She winks at Ilona and says, "Thank you for coming by. I thought you'd leave after you've taken care of the contract, but it seems your rather talkative friend here enjoys retelling the events. He's been doing that 4 times now."
Oh, I see. Well, saves me the trouble then.
He's not as good with his tongue as you are with yours, milady.
Yes, quite. I need to get out of these wet clothes. I'll see you later. And she's just gonna go
All right.
get up to her room, not really interested in partying.
Well then, Kihir, you have 2 glasses. Waste not. There's like
Yeah, I think he like whispers something like that under his breath, and then probably goes and watches Ilona walk off, and then making sure that she sees herself safely, goes and joins Idra.
all right. There's about 8 other folks in the tavern tonight. 2 of them older men. The rest are all, the widows of whoever was killed and brought to the grave hag. So most of them are now workers, artisans in their own right, and they found that spending their evening talking at the tavern and sorts of relaxes oneself, or at least makes the dreary routine a bit less dull. Especially with, having a magic user and a witcher that came in town and a great elven bard and a dashing southern knight. I mean, to them, this is like the high. Unfortunately, it's the highlight of their year, probably decade. The circumstances that brought you to Brennick are not necessarily the best, but your presence here, they seem to have taken a liking to the 4 of you.
I think when Kahira sits down, he looks over at Idra and says, "Did he tell you how big its tongue was?"
And one of the women is like, "Well, he keeps saying it's big, but according to the story, you were close to her, Sir Knight. You must have seen it. Was it really as long as a man's arm?"
Longer. Must have been 2 meters.
One of the older men puts his hands out and tries to measure whatever 2 meters is.
Right.
And of course he doesn't have the arm span for it, but he's like, "Well, that's bigger than that carp Rodolph caught down on the Yoruga a couple years ago." And the other one's like, "Aye, Rodolph was a great fisherman." And they they raise a glass to Rodolph, who was probably eaten by the grave hag. The atmosphere sorts of dies down, becomes a bit heavier after that. They remember who was lost. And then, oh, yep.
Yeah, no. Even drunk Idra can still read a mood. So, he's just kind of sitting next to Kahir at this point, and he looks like a couple of the men, and he says, it's going to be important that for the next 3 days it burns. When it's done, there should be nothing left but ash. Don't enter. Collapse it from the outside with shovels and hoes. Bury all that remains. The foul magics that were there need to be lost and forgotten. It could have been much worse.
Kahir looks at the townspeople and says, "I would do exactly what he said. Personally, I don't think I'll ever go back."
Make a Idrik I want to say charisma, but that won't be charisma in this case. Well, maybe make a leadership test.
Leadership. Okay, and I have a bonus to that, right? Because I'm currently I have a reputation there now.
Yep, you can add your reputation bonus, which should be a +1. But also because you are a mage.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be rolling at like a -1.
It's only -2 +1, so -1. Yeah.
Yeah. 15.
15. That's enough. You see, some of the peasants at first are a bit suspicious of what you say, but one of them chimes in and says, "Well, at this point, there's no sense in trying to retrieve whoever was left and devoured by the hag. It's going to be as good a grave as they can get. Did you at least remove the body of the hag from there? I wouldn't want to bury my husband in the same place as that monster."
There's nothing of the hag left, other than the trophy the Witcher has. It was the only way to ensure her foul magic did not pollute the land.
She did good. Oh, thank you, Tweeter of Vecna, for the follow. She did good. By the way, where is she?
I just shrug and then chug my entire pint. Just
The one of the two older gentlemen, the one that talked about the fisherman earlier, is like, my cousin once dealt with a witcher. They say that after the job's done, they disappear in the night. Because if they don't, they come back and they take your children. It might be better for her to have disappeared.
That's a lie.
It might be the truth for all I know. It's the first Witcher I've met.
That's a lie. Witchers only take children if you invoke the surprise. And then he just thumps down onto the table.
Miriam's bringing you a wooden bucket. Empty.
Just pat him on the back.
Here you go, sir. You're gonna need that for the rest of the night.
He's unconscious.
And oh. Well then. Sir Knight, you'll see him to his room tonight?
Yes.
I can't lift him up the floor. Alright, thank you. Ilona, do you at any point come back down, or you stay in your room for the night?
Yeah, she stays in her room for the night, but I think you can hear just like music softly coming through the door.
Miriam's gonna come check on you at some point before she clocks out for the night, in case you need anything.
No, she's fine. She's not eating. She's like, I don't know, wants to keep her distance from, like, she just sees them all as human right now.
Which is sort of what they are.
Well, yes, but like she feels...
They're all potential threats.
Yeah.
So, alright. She locks down the inn for the night. You three are the only occupants. And a dim sun rises over Velen the next morning, covered by the clouds. It's not raining, but it's very, very humid, very wet in the air. Sort of chilly in the morning. But here you are, still awake. Still alive, I should say. Awake. Though I would like for each of you to roll a single d10, please.
No, I don't want to.
You can also choose to forfeit.
No. I don't like that either. I just don't want any of it.
I hope 4 is good.
Alright. Kahir. Though you are awake and alive, your night was spent dreaming of these 8 raven. You saw them fly over the Kingdom of Redania, and then fly over mountains, probably the Mahakaman Mountains, and then just split. To, going into every direction possible. One at the moment where they split, you found yourself just floating in midair, and you have these 8 orbs, like red orbs, much like gemstones, glowing gemstones that are peering into you. And they say, it would be best for you not to follow. And they disappear. When you awake, you just have this weird phrase in your mind. It would be best for you not to follow. You don't know if the voice meant following the ravens, where they went eastward toward the mountains, or follow whatever lead you had at the moment.
I wake up all sweaty. I feel like I've been flying all night.
Yeah, you were.
So tired.
You have learned how to fly. But only in your dreams.
Only in dreams. Yeah, I think maybe I would just ponder on it for a while.
Sure. I'll wager the 3 of you meet up for breakfast for whatever it is that Miriam has. Probably like eggs and potatoes.
Actually, like as soon as she wakes up, Ilona's gonna knock on Edric's door.
Yes.
Edric, it's Ilona. May I come in?
Yes. One sec. Come in. He's like, you opened the door to him, like waving.
Yeah.
Bad. When he sits up without a shirt on and is like blindly reaching for one and grabs it and like kind of pulls it over his head. Oh, I drank too much last night. How can I help you?
I went right up to bed after I got in. What did you do about the king?
What the king? All of the bodies were infested with dark magics from the grave hag. I had to burn them all, except for the merchant son. It was the only one I could save.
And there's nothing left.
The bodies should be nothing but ash. I summoned so much fire that I thought I was going to burn. If they listen, the villagers will bury them without looking inside. 3 days. If anything remains, they will be unrecognizable.
The ring?
Will be disposed of later.
Ilona will cradle Idric's face in one of her hands and kiss him and say, "Thank you."
No problem.
And she'll
I
just.
don't.
Oh, sorry.
I don't. I'm not stupid. I don't. You're an elf. You get blamed for things. I'm a mage. I get blamed for things too. They don't need a reason.
And she'll just get up and leave.
As you do so, another figure comes down the stairs. Ariella, which you hadn't heard come in last night, probably right after the inn closed, or just thereabouts, after Idric had passed out from alcohol poisoning, and Ilona was in her room.
Yep.
Before you come in, Ariella, Ilona, were you leaving, like going back to your room, or leaving?
No,
leaving?
she's going downstairs.
All right. So you cross her in the corridor as you both make your way downstairs.
Oh, good morning, Ariella.
Morning. I didn't know that you returned.
Yes, I panicked and I ran. But Kahir convinced me that there's no use running all night. So we came back. I apologize for leaving without saying anything.
It's alright. I've had a lot of people leave without saying goodbye. It's nothing irregular.
Oh, gosh. That is... You... It seems like you and the mage have quite a lot of things to work out. And I don't want to get in between that, but I've done nothing to harm you or to wrong you, and I don't quite understand why you're speaking to me with such disdain.
It's just that I'm not a fan of liars. I've had a lot of them in my career. They just ruin things. They ruin the plan, the strategy of how things should go.
I haven't lied to you.
No. But he has.
Yes, well, that is between you and him, and I would ask that you just keep me out of it. You seem to misunderstand my intentions.
Fine. I'll leave you out of it.
I appreciate your concern for my feelings, but believe me when I say there are absolutely no feelings involved.
Good.
So the four of you are the only patrons at the inn anyway during daytime. I figure you have breakfast in silence.
Yep. Just pure awkward silence.
I did have a question for you, Simon.
Yeah.
So, this body is not getting any fresher. and we kind of have to go out of the way to go to get the payment for the grave hag. Is there any way that I could spend stamina using magical healing to like just slow the process of decay?
Oh, I mean, I figure it's probably kept outside.
Well, yeah, but I would also like him to be returned to his parents with at least some of the flesh still on his face.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
To just slow down.
Just slow down decomposition.
Yeah, that would be like cast it at the. Well, no, you're not a witcher, so it is. Healing is dependent on how many stamina points you put in it, right?
No,
It's a flat cost.
It's a flat cost that lasts for a number of rounds that is randomly determined. But I would be willing to spend like 10 points of stamina a day, to slow the decomp.
Sure. Let's do it that way. Oh, by the way.
Speaking of stamina, how many stamina points do we get back?
So nighttime healing. Did any one of you lose health at some point?
No.
No, my magical healing kept everybody up. Anybody that did lose health or would have lost health got it right back.
I'm gonna have to work on that.
Also, did we rule if we were gonna go for the correct math or the nice math that you gave us as far as stamina and
Well,
stuff?
the way the sheet works, I think we have to go with the correct one and not the nice one. So
okay.
I'll be nice and I'll give you XP tonight to like balance out a bit, because I wanted to give you guys an edge just in case. So stamina recovers whenever you take the recover action, which restores mentioned as your wreck. So I figure overnight, yeah, we'll do it that way. Overnight you regain your full stamina. We'll do it that way today, and if it's not right, we'll fix it next time. Just think of me as a generous god. Aha. Your stamina represents how much energy you can expend before becoming exhausted and how hard it is to knock you out. When it runs out, blah, 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 blah. No lethal damage can expend 1 minute of intense labor or 1 hour of menial labor, 2 stamina points. Returns whenever you take a recover action, which restores as much stamina as your wreck. Yeah, okay, so even the errata doesn't mention, like, a full night. I figure a full night is just, like, recovery after recovery after recovery. So, sure. You're full. You guys are full.
Yay.
Full.
Yay!
Full of this awkward breakfast.
Yep, the awkward breakfast.
Yep.
Ilona would just be making small talk.
And Kahir would make sure to say good morning to everyone.
Alright, so it's only awkward for Idrik and Ariella.
Yeah.
There's there's so much tension between the two of them, you can cut it with
Yeah. Ilona acts like nothing has happened between any of them. Like, or at least nothing happened to like change the way she interacts with either of them substantially.
Kahir comments several times on how tasty the taters are.
we need to make a decision. Who let the dog out?
There's a wild tiny dog in the inn. It's the inn's mascot. It's fine. Yeah, because you remember you have and for everybody watching if they missed the last episode, but you would need to go to Inholt Manor to get payment for what you've done by the Lord Mayor. And there's also the body of the kid.
Yeah, and Idrik will just kind of like explain this, as well as needing to stop by Getsfield Farm, and well,
my
Getsfield
horse. I have to give buckwheat.
Yeah,
and the horse.
Oh, by the way, the horse, since you were like for the amount of time you weren't there, Jillian, Ariella had enough time to double back and get her horse and bring it to Brennick.
Yay!
It's like you've had like 4 or 5 hours ahead of yourself to just clear your mind out before you went to bed. So sure, we'll say you went and brought your horse, and that's why you weren't there yet.
So this manor, it's like it's not on the way to Oxenford. It's like the opposite direction.
I mean, define on the way. If
It's
you
like
were to
how
go to the manor, then take a rowboat and row your way back to Oxenford, that would work.
Then
No,
it's
it's
on the way.
it's opposite.
okay.
Well, almost opposite. So you could, it would take you about. To be fair, it's so close. I don't even think the map's gonna. Yeah, the map won't show it. It might. I don't know. It maybe is what, a mile or so out of town.
Okay, so it's not super far out of the way to get there, and then head back to Oxenford.
Yeah. No, it's the trek to Oxenford is long regardless. It's gonna take you. I said last time the better part of a day, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you might, if you go to the manor first, you might have to camp out somewhere
Maybe
before.
just stay at Guts Fields.
Yep.
With a dead. He's my friend, so will totally let us.
Just
That's right, you
invoke the
befriended
rights of
him.
hospitality.
Hmm?
We could just invoke the rights of hospitality.
I mean, but he's also mechanically my friend because I beat him in that.
Which
verbal
would
combat.
allow you to invoke the rights of hospitality and be like, there's nothing you can say. I ended up rolling higher than you. It's like, I have to agree by the unwritten rules of the universe that we have 10%. A 10% chance of doing anything super well.
So, and should we be off? I have we need to procure a wagon for the body, unless one of you wants to carry it.
No, that sounds unpleasant.
I think he was joking.
I just go yell from across and it's like, well, there's buckwheat.
It's true. You could just put the.
Yeah, Miriam can provide you with a blanket if you want to wrap the body in.
Yeah, okay. So I will, since because of my various trainings and my kind of desensitized nature to like dead things, I will go ahead and just wrap up the body tightly, taking the opportunity to imbue it with some healing magic to preserve the dead flesh, and then like strap it tightly and then get it on top of buckwheat.
All right. So
He grabs a potato and stuffs it in his bag. You never know when you're going to need that.
sure, eat it raw.
Alright, you now have 1 potato in your inventory. Congratulations.
Miriam just looks at you quizzically and says, "You're just bringing the 1 potato along."
Oh, I mean, it won't be too far to Oxenford.
Are you telling me you're gonna eat a single potato a day? Is that what you intended to eat?
Probably.
Because I mean, I could,
I mean,
if you wouldn't mind waiting for a few hours, I can cook you a meal for the road.
oh, I don't want to bother. I appreciate it.
All right.
Perhaps we could stop by on our way back from the Lord Mayor's house.
It's a decent idea.
I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to have to ask you to pay though this time. Because you know, I have to make a living.
That's of course.
Plus, you'll be back with the Lord Mayor's money.
It will be no problem.
I don't have any money.
It's okay.
You guys are about to get paid.
All right,
Ilona was gonna pay for you anyway.
the stiff is on the horse. Just you hear Edric call from outside.
Mm-hmm. You guys head out to the Lord Mayor's house. It is, it's about a good 3-hour walk maybe. Not even, what am I
I
saying?
just ride my horse there.
like you can't really go that fast because of the dead body on the horse, but maybe, yeah, like a half hour, 45 minutes. You get there. Like, it's the only stretch of road between Hinholt Manor and Brennick that is somewhat well kept. You even pass by a shrine to Melitelli on the way, which is more or less tended to. There's weeds growing around it, but you see like a bunch of candles that have been placed and burnt over the last couple of days around that shrine.
Okay, so forgive me. Who is Melitelli?
The goddess of healing. And others some such. Give me 2 seconds. Melitelli. I think it's Melitelli, how it's supposed to be pronounced. I don't know.
I think that's what they say in the game.
Yeah, Melitelli.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Anyway, it's so the goddess itself is represented by 3 women of varying ages. It's basically the whole, you know, the young girl and then the woman and the crone. The maiden, the mother, and the crone. And she is the patron of love, marriage, peace, fertility, nature, abundance, and motherhood. It is normally the goddess most worshipped by farmers and by healers and wise women, all that.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Sorry, I didn't know, and it sounded like something that I should.
You should know. Well, having lived in Nilfgaard for most of your life, in Nilfgaard you worship the Emperor. And that is it.
Oh.
The sun. You worship the sun.
Praise the sun.
The giant burning wheel. So, among all of you, I think, aside from maybe Ariella and Ilona, that goddess might be known because you both are learned individuals, but you might have never really, like, been to a temple of Melitelli, for example.
Right, okay.
But yeah, so it's not like in disrepair or anything. It stays, which also gives you a glimpse into the maybe mindset of the Lord Mayor, since well, especially for Idric, you would know in Redania the church tends to, you know, Novigrad is the seat of the Church of the Eternal Fire. Technically they would rather have all the rulers outlaw the worship of any other deity but the Eternal Fire. So the fact that this shrine stays means that at least the Lord Mayor either isn't a fanatic or is a bit more lenient in how he handles things. Matters of religion and religious freedom. Y'all get to the manor, which is less of a manor, more of a tower. A fortified tower. It's along the river. That basically marks a natural border between the lands around Novigrad. So whatever little meager amount of lands belong to Novigrad, the neutral region, and Velen and the rest of Redania. To get to the manor, you need to cross a bridge, which is currently guarded by 4 soldiers, more like militiamen. They're dressed in haphazard armor. Some of them have, one of them has a plate spauldron with a round, like open face helmet. Another has chainmail. The other 2, though, they're wearing gambeson with like reinforced padding in uncertain areas, like if it was a suit of full plate armor, but made out of gambeson and cushions and such. They don't look well trained. They're chatting among themselves, but as soon as they see you approach with buckwheat, one of them turns around and sorts of tries to hold himself upright, hold his pike in one hand, and says, "Halt, traveler! The Lord Manor of Hinholt is currently indisposed and will not receive visitors for..." And he looks to the other three. He's like, "How long?" And all three shrugs. He's like, you, for a certain undetermined period of time, you can strike camp over there. And he points to like a bunch of trees a bit farther down the road. And wait for the Lord Manor to open his doors to the common folk. Otherwise, we'll have to ask you to move along now.
Arya's just gonna be extremely blunt about this and say, "We're here about the Beast of Oxenfurt. It's dead."
The one with the helmet comes forward. You notice now that he's closer to you, he's probably old. Well, he is older and probably the most experienced of all those four guards. He has a white 5 o'clock shadow beard that he tried to keep shaved. You don't see any hair coming out of his helmet, but you do notice that one of his eyes is actually a glass eye. And there seems to be a sort of like scar or discoloration around this glass eye. And he stops you and says, "Or the Beast of Oxenfurt?"
It's dead.
Me
and my compatriots here have killed it.
You have its head, don't you?
Do you have proof of its demise?
Yep. I just point over to my compatriots who hold up the head.
I bring it close.
It's me. Like I'm holding the head up.
Yeah.
I walk forward and I'm holding it up by its disgusting hair. Like the partially severed tongue hanging out.
He looks at it and draws a dagger and like pokes it slowly, gently to see if it's like fake, like a very good facsimile of a grave hag's head. And he's like, "Well, by the eternal fire, I didn't think anybody would get rid of the Beast of Oxenfurt."
Well, we did.
I figure you're here for the reward. If the Lord Mayor is anything, he is an honest man. A bit in over his head right now, but I shouldn't say that. Mind you, you seem like a very capable sort. Would you mind? And he fetches crowns in his purse while he's talking. Would you mind perhaps helping me with a problem of mine?
That would depend on what kind.
I see those two swords of yours. You're a witcher, aren't you?
She nods.
Well, the Lord Mayor might not have need of a witcher that much right now, but there's sort of a problem at the manor, and well, me and the boys here, we can't even go back to our barracks. There's a Nilfgaardian envoy. He's occupying the Lord Manor's house. None of us like it that much. But it's got something to do with, I don't know, Redanian activity down south. Who knows? We're not allowed to go anywhere near the place. It's been like that for 2 days now. If one of you would like to, perhaps we'll say that you snuck past us or something. Knock at the door and maybe check if the Lord is alright.
I think that can be manageable. I need that reward anyway.
Can you make, all four of you, can you make an awareness check?
Okay, I can do that.
Can I make a runaway check?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, I
Yes.
mean, you don't need to make a check. You can just book it, but that will
Can
be
I just
very,
run the
very
hell away?
suspicious. I
That's
mean, oh, the
okay,
Lord Mayor is
no.
preoccupied, and then you have an elf that just goes, nope, and runs away.
Natural 10.
Natural 10. So you can use the, well, you don't need to use the critical fumble button because it's a skill check. Oh, but it adds to the, oh, okay, I get it.
It adds to the score, yeah.
Yep. So I got a total of 33.
Wait, what did you roll? You didn't even roll it.
You rolled a
I
5.
But no, it said I got a critical. Oh
No,
wait,
that's-
That's Ariella.
Where's the critical and fumble show?
It's quick roll buttons on the skills and modifier sheet.
it's on the right hand side. Sorry, I completely misread that. I thought I was the one with critical.
Oh, there it is. 8, so that's a 32.
So, the 4 of you, especially Ariella, notice that through the bridge, there's no gate really that bars the way across the bridge, but looking into the courtyard, you can see, now that he's mentioned Nilfgaardian Envoy, you do notice like 3 black horses. One of which is covered with, I don't remember what the name for it is, but it's like a tabard for horses. Like, you know, they put, like, it has like motifs and colors and such.
Yeah.
It's
Just,
dressed up.
Stuff. It has fancy stuff.
Yeah, it has, so one of them is fancy. And the 2 others are just war horses, basically.
Are
Big,
there
massive beasts.
are there like is there a particular sigil or province of Nilfgaard that
From what you can glean, yeah, with an 18, I'll say you can see it. It is the sigil of Sintra.
okay.
Edric is noticing this and wondering, is he seeing anything that might indicate a certain speciality that these, like, he's not seeing anything that might indicate witch hunters, is he?
Oh no, and they're not. Witch hunters
mage-
you would know would not announce themselves, and no, they would hunt pretty much the same way a witcher hunts.
Okay.
So if you see them coming, means they're doing a really bad job at whatever it is they're doing. No, in this case, it looks like, especially since there's no carriage, you don't see any other armed guards or anything, so that person is probably more a messenger or a low-ranking noble, maybe like the son of a noble house from Sintra or something, or like a messenger from the rulers of Sintra on behalf of the emperor or something like that.
Edric's gonna kind of like shift uncomfortably, just angling the big bisected black tattoo of a sun on his shoulder away from the guards. Like, that's gonna be arranged.
All right. The guard's still looking at you. He hands you over, by the way, the 500 crowns. Wait. 500? Yep,
Yeah,
the 500 bounty.
Awesome. I'll just put that in my pocket for it now. We're gonna divvy it up later. It seems like a bad time to do it at the moment.
Yeah, well, especially
One for
500.
you,
It's
and one for you, and one for you.
well, to be fair, to count it all out, he has to count it anyway. So if you want to share this, if you want to
It's about
split it,
125 each.
yeah, if you want to split it right away, you can, because he's gonna have to pull them out almost one by one and be like, okay, that's all right. That's 50.
We'll
No,
just
that's
do it.
20.
We'll just do it later. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we got more money coming our way anyway, so
Yep.
we'll just divide it all up at the end.
Yep. I guess so. I guess I'm the only one who's brave enough just to go over their door and just ask if the Lord Mayor's okay.
Well, we have to like get in.
They're gonna let us through, aren't they?
Yeah, we just we haven't role played going through the door yet, so I gotta like get through the door first. Also, yes, probably Ariel is the only brave person.
Like, yeah, Edric is following, but is kind of like, oh, I don't like,
Yeah.
quietly murmuring to himself.
Ariella is like, or not Ariella, Ilona is like straight up hiding, but like not hiding, but like standing, following behind Kahir.
The guard will put his scale back into his stuff, because I've been told that using a scale would have been a lot faster.
He probably has like a chest and like
Yeah.
a scale if he's in charge of that kind of stuff. Small desk or something.
But yeah, the four of you cross the bridge. And you hear the guard in back go like, "Oh, wait! I think I saw someone! Are you sure? Oh boy. Let's hope nobody snuck in while we were on our break." And like, you can hear that they're yelling loudly enough that if anyone was listening in from the top of the tower, they would probably hear.
That's horrible acting.
It is. They're soldiers.
I'm sorry.
When you get to the courtyard, you notice there's 4 buildings aside from the tower. One of them seems to be the barracks that they've mentioned. There's a small stable. There's a smithy. And there's another which is probably either servants' quarters or kitchen or whatnot. It smells of food and firewood. And there's also a plume of smoke coming out of the chimney. Otherwise, the 3 horses are tethered to a post in front of the tower, not in the stables. So whoever's here must not have been, or didn't think they would stay here for a while. But yet, here they are.
Yep.
Perhaps you should take the lead on this, Kahir.
I will. I see where you're all coming from. He like glances around, and I figure everybody's just staring at him.
I mean, I'm technically a knight in Nilfgaard as well, so I could back you up, but...
We'll see. There we go. Let's just take this slow. I'm sure you'll have plenty useful to assist. What did that guard sergeant want us to do anyway?
Just...
He just wanted to check to see if the Lord Mayor is okay.
Yeah, because he said that the envoys came in like a day or so ago, and they still haven't gone out, and the mayor didn't want anyone to come in while they were there.
Okay. I'll put it all together now. So yeah, I think Kahir will just go open the door.
Not even knock?
Knock.
When you put your hand on the door, it is incredibly cold. Like ice cold.
I think I look down at my hand and say something out loud like unnatural.
I'm gonna inspect the door now, because I'm suspicious.
Check for traps.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna check for traps. Yeah, this.
Investigate this door.
That would be an awareness check.
I still have that nat 20 from that nat 10 from earlier.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Okay, I'll do another one. No additional mods and stuff. It's a 17.
You look at the door, scan out any nooks and crannies that you can see from either between the planks or in how the hinges were made or anything, and it doesn't appear like this door was trapped in any way. But when you put your hand on it, it does feel very, very cold. But it's coming from, like, the cold's coming from inside.
So it's naturally cold, or is it unnaturally, like magical cold?
That you couldn't say, but I mean, guys, we're in like September. Is that what we said? September or August? Give me 2 seconds.
We gotta check your notes again.
I do not remember there being a date.
I was imagining September.
Yeah, you're on September 30th. Or I'm using actual real world months because it's easier.
So it would be a little chilly.
A little chilly. I mean, northern Poland in September. If you guys want to wiki it later to see what the temperature is, but it's.
I mean, maybe if he left the window open.
It's a tower.
I'm just saying, maybe if he left the window open.
Yeah, but it is colder than that. It is.
Okay.
Probably like if something was frozen inside.
Can I make a magical training check? One of the things that magical training does is it allows me to roll it as a form of awareness that detects magical beings, spells, and hexes. So can I like just make a quick roll to see if I detect spells in the area?
Yep, go ahead.
24.
Oh yeah, you detect magic. I don't know what that noise was, but you do detect magic.
No.
Careful here.
Steven just wants to open the door without doing any checks for magic.
There's some kind of magic afoot.
As you try to open the door, Kahir, it doesn't want to budge. It's like it's frozen or something's been propped up from the other side, preventing you from opening it.
Here's my chance.
You can make an athletics check.
Kick down that door.
All right. Here, hold my beer. Is this physique?
Yeah, that would be physique.
Right.
That's 19.
Oh yeah, you break down the door. You hear the sound of ice shattering from the other side. And you see a frozen solid Nilfgaardian envoy.
Oh,
You almost shattered them opening the door. They're like covered in a sheet of ice. But only the front of their body, like the one that's facing the door. And the face that they're making is, or the face they made right before being frozen solid, is a look between oh shit and complete fear. Like if that person maybe expected something to happen or expected something that came in, but it's like both surprise and fear. Let's leave it at that.
I think Kahir puts a hand on his hilt and says something like, "Now, I'm not trained in the subject, but something tells me there's something magical here."
I just look over Kahir's shoulder and see this and go, well, fuck, this situation couldn't have gone any worse.
I don't really like mages. No offense, Cedric.
Untaken. We can be real assholes sometime.
Yeah, I can tell.
The fast decision. Do we stay and figure this out, or do we get the fuck out?
As you say that, you hear a voice coming from upstairs. It says, anyone? Please?
I'm gonna go up and investigate that.
Fuck. I go with her.
I'll
All right.
follow.
When you go upstairs, the Lord Mayor and the probably actual envoy emissary, messenger, whatever, and another young lad are sitting in what is probably the study. So like if the first floor is like this common area where you would greet strangers and whatever, the second floor of the tower is like his study / living room, library, whatnot, and then higher up would be where they sleep, where their private quarters are. But in that study are, aside from like books and desks and all that, these giant patches of ice that are just plastered on the walls, even on the ground. One of the young lad actually has half a leg encased in ice, and they look like they're very cold, all three of them. And you hear their stomach grumble. The envoy himself, a man wearing a breastplate, is missing 3 fingers on his right hand, probably frostbitten. And the Lord Mayor is stuck to his chair, covered in ice, up to like his shoulders. They look feeble, weak, and I'm not gonna say guilty, but sort of, yeah, the same face embarrassed, like a child would have made when caught red-handed.
I call out Nilfgaardian very authoritatively. Is that a word?
Yep.
And I'm
Sure
like,
it is.
what happened here?
I just look over to Edric and just so, we should probably warm this place up first.
Yeah, he's just looking around. Like these towers and stuff would have like fireplaces and stuff, right?
Oh, there is a fireplace, but it's been covered in ice, like one of those ice patches, like
just
covered it.
I'm gonna help with my Igni.
Yeah, well, yeah, just like I don't know. It might be a little too small, like narrow in here for Igni, but Aenya is
no,
is a
but
small ball.
even for Igni, there's a way to cast it that it's not,
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Edric will start melting away the fireplace and like working to like get a fire going, like, and looking for wood and such.
All right.
Actually, that's Edric will say, "Nona, can you get some wood for us, please?"
Well, you do that, and Kahir called out in Nilfgaardian, the envoy, the guy with the missing fingers and the sort of battered breastplate, answers in perfect Nilfgaardian, in Elder speech, and says, "Oh, another one from the motherland. Thank you for coming to our aid. We had a bit of a mishap." And he says, I'm a bit too weak to go down the stairs. And you notice that he's trying to hold himself up. He's like, I made a blunder, a mess. I've humiliated our great nation, the Black Sun, in the name of the Emperor. If you would just, any motions to both the mayor and the younger guy, if you could just free them, we'll be on our way. We shouldn't be here anyway.
I asked you what happened here.
We are but simple merchants trying to... we had wares that Lord of Inhold here was interested in, and some very rare Zerrikanian chemistry. It's just... one of my apprentices was careless, and he dropped the whole thing. It's nothing to worry about. Without your timely intervention, really, we would have probably died of starvation, and And you see he's almost passing out. He's like, I haven't been in a state to call for aid, really.
Ilona will, like, she's taking her bedroll out of her pack and, like, wrapping the blankets around this man who's, like, talking and falling over.
All right.
Can I make an insight check?
Yes, I was going to say, Kahir, you do believe that this person is probably not saying everything. I mean, even if they were trying to hide
one
something.
elder speech.
Well, you also have a 10 intelligence. So I was gonna say, with our 10s in intelligence, do we understand what he's saying?
Oh, most of it, yeah. Maybe not enough to notice that, not enough to make an insight check, basically. But enough to understand what he's saying and the message he's conveying.
I was wondering if I could make a mage training check to see if I know of any like alchemical substances that would react like that, or if this is very clearly spell work.
Actually, that would not be a mage check, but an alchemy check.
I can try to do an alchemy check.
I do not have the alchemy skill. So
Here, you can make your...
You'll be human perception.
Human perception, yeah. Is he human?
let's find out.
16.
Alright, that's for the
That's
alchemy.
Yeah, that's for alchemy.
What am I rolling?
Human perception.
Why is that under? I don't.
It's under
It's
empathy.
an empathy skill.
Yeah, on the news sheet it's H perception right underneath improvement style.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. May I also, I was going to ask if I could also make a human perception check.
Sure you can. As far as alchemy is concerned, while you're rolling Ilona, you have heard of these experimental objects, items. We call them bombs in the barbaric tongue of the north. And you do know, Ariella, that Witchers make use of Zerrikanian alchemy a lot because it helps in different situations where, you would need a spellcaster, but you might not have one on hand. Looking at the pattern of what happened in this room, yeah, it might have been an experiment gone wrong.
Yeah, possibly.
Ilona.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is not telling the whole story. He's actually trying to hold on to a single train of thought, and it seems like that person is so weak that it would probably be easy to either confuse them or fast talk them into telling the truth, because it seems like they're using a lot of energy to just keep to that one story of, we're merchant, there was a mishap.
Yeah. In that case, she will position, like, as she's wrapping the blanket around him, like she'll position her body so that, like, she's kind of wrapping an arm around him as well, and saying, "Oh, that sounds so terrible. Oh, we must get you warmed up. Idra, could you warm them up, please? Get some firewood or something."
I point to the completely frozen over fireplace, and then like the fire in my hand as I'm melting it in the moment.
I was just getting some firewood if I could find it.
All right. Well,
Oh,
somebody,
there's a pile of firewood next to the fireplace.
All right.
Oh, well, why don't you strong folk worry about the fire, and what did you say your name was, sir?
I have here written Nilfgaardian merchant. So 2 second. I'll get you
Name
I'll get you a name. Yeah,
generators.
I forgot to do that.
Wow.
It is the one. It's my bane as a DM.
No.
This
All right.
is why I take Matt Mercer's advice and I have a name list for all of my games.
Yeah, I have now one opened up. Seskal.
Seskal. Yes, of course. So what did you say happened? You said you're a merchant.
Yep. And before he answers, we're gonna go into verbal combat.
Yeah, we are.
But we're gonna take a quick break because something came up IRL here. So I need about like 5 to 10 minutes. Plus it's 9:30 or so, so we're about in our time. So we'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. Because we're back. Hey, verbal combat. So you wrapped your arms around the
one arm.
The one arm, that's true. And like put a blanket over
blanket.
Seskal's frozen body. And then you were about to ask him something.
Yes. So you said you're a merchant.
Yes.
Hello? Oh.
Sorry. We're gonna need to just before check for I'm gonna check for my resolve. Just so I know.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm still not used to that.
What is it different than
Resolve. It should be will plus intelligence divided by 2 times 5.
Okay.
This is too much.
I have a resolve stat on the
Oh, you guys have them on the sheets now?
on the sheet, yeah.
Awesome. So that's your resolve. That's your HP for verbal combat.
Okay. Perfect. Steven has a question.
Oh, yes, Steven.
Can any of us help with the verbal
Yep,
combat?
it is. So it's just like a regular combat. Each of you have a turn, and then I also have a turn.
Okay.
I can defend against your attacks, and I can ask you guys to fuck off. Stop asking me questions.
What's the count for resolve again? Something divided by 2.
It's on our stats.
Yeah, you guys actually have it on the sheets.
It just says the max. It says I have 85 and just current is 0.
Yeah. Your max is 85?
I don't know why.
Your max resolve?
Yes.
Yeah, 85. Oh,
Will
because
plus intelligence divided by 2 times 5. I mean, I guess if you have...
17.
Well, I have 10 intelligence and 10 will, and my resolve is 50.
I'm at 45.
Yeah.
it
shouldn't be 85. It probably took that from the old sheet. Let me just count it real quick. Then that would be it. You should have 40 in your case. So I'll fix it right away. Jillian. If I can find it. If I can find it in the variables. Anyway, right now, at worst, Jillian, just write it on a piece of paper or something somewhere. I
just put current is 40.
40? Ah, okay, that's cool. That's even better.
Yep, I just put there.
Cool. So, sorry about this little apartheid.
Do you just have to roll initiative?
No, we're gonna go Alona, Kahir, Ariella, Idrik, me. Alona, Kahir, Ariella, Idrik, me.
Oh, do I have to? Even though I don't even.
You don't have to participate. If you want to just keep thawing the fireplace, putting the firewood there. Yep.
That's what I want to do. I'm just gonna keep thawing.
All right.
I'm pretending that I don't understand any Nilfgaardian.
Okay. So
cool.
Ilona,
I just want to play good cop, bad cop.
So Ilona, you were asking.
Yes. Well, do you deal in these magical things often?
What kind of attack would that be?
I don't know. Perhaps. Can I seduce him because I'm like.
So you ask him seductively.
Yeah. Well, I'm like. I should be like, oh, I'm very interested in. That sounds very interesting. You're a merchant of magical items, and she's like,
all right,
tucking him in real good.
To which he's going to reply that it was just a one-time special package. Unfortunately, everything was destroyed.
All right, so I roll seduction to hit.
You roll seduction to hit, and he's going to roll
deceit.
No, I think in his defense right now that would be he's trying to change the subject.
Yes.
So changing subject is a persuasion check. Wait. I got a 14.
Yep.
So
Ilana got a 21.
It's a
Ilana,
crit.
dish out your damage. It's a crit? No, it's not.
What? No.
Okay. I thought it was 7+.
Yeah, it didn't roll my stat.
It rolled
Oh,
a
no,
3
roll
plus a
D10.
10. Yeah, for your stat plus an 8 for the skill.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's not. It's
Yeah, no, sorry, because we're using crits even in verbal combat. Thank you, Steven. I thought
Sorry,
like
I
it was a
just-
natural 10. No, that's cool. I have it on page 152. This is you beat it by 7, right?
Yes.
So you can add 3 to your damage.
Okay. All right, so I roll, gosh, seduction. Oh, it's only a d6. That's not very good.
Well, it's a d6 plus your empathy.
Yeah, okay, so roll 1d6 plus 13.
That still is a lot.
That's a d4.
It's D4.
Sorry. That's a d6.
All right.
Did I kill it?
No, you didn't speech him to death.
Okay.
I mean, you're killing it. Just not-
But the effect is Defender is a little hot under the collar and takes a cumulative, there we go, +2 damage from each seduction for the combat.
And so we'll move on to Kihir after you ask that, Alona. Kihir, do you want to attempt to seduce the Nilfgaardian envoy?
It's tempting, but
I think you could do it.
I would probably be better suited to doing other things.
Bad cop you always wanted to be.
Does that mean you don't want to participate in the verbal combat?
Can I skip this round? Can I
Well,
ready an action?
you can like intimidate or
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Actually, like intimidate, just like kind of tap on the hilt of my Ficovarian sword, and just be like, "Listen, we know you're lying. Go ahead and just give up the details."
All right. To which he's gonna say, "Lying. I don't understand what you mean. I'm not lying. I'm just under a lot of pain right now. Can't you see? Can't you see the situation we're in? Have you no heart?" So he's going to attempt to disengage.
With like a persuasion or
That way, resist coercion.
coercion?
Basically, he would like Steven to stop hounding him, and if I win, Steven technically isn't part of the argument anymore.
Can I have +1 for forking in my sword?
You're using a tool, so I'm gonna say you can use. Nah, you didn't display. Yeah, go with the +1. I was gonna say like, oh, you could use your swordmanship, but no, you didn't display any like swordmanship skills.
So I'll put a 1 here.
nice.
And he's going to imply you're heartless. So allows you to suggest something bad about your current argument or good. If you succeed, you lower your opponent's defenses. You can only use imply once per combat. Man. Sure. Ooh, that's not his strong suit though. Oh. Alright, deal your damage, Sir Knight.
I have no clue how
It's
to
damage for intimidate is 1d10 plus your will.
do. Okay.
And you have also scared the guy.
You said 1d8 or
1d10.
1d10?
10.
It's either 10 or 6 in this game, so. Yep. That there he goes. The envoy is like, don't you see the trouble we're in and blah blah blah, the situation we're in? Have you no heart? And the Lord Mayor chimes in and says, look, they could just kill us all if they wanted to, and yet here they are trying to light a fire and trying to warm us up. I think we owe them the truth. Also, would you mind trying to break the ice around me?
Is the Lord Mayor speaking in Elder speech as well?
No, he's speaking in Common. But he
I'm
seems
just
to
gonna-
understand Elder speech quite well.
I'm just gonna like put my Agni in and just try my best to melt the chair.
That's good. Like, it starts melting. It's gonna take a while, but he probably took the brunt of whatever it was.
Yeah, I'm doing my best to melt away while Ejik is trying to melt the fireplace to warm the place up.
The Nilfgaardian merchant says, "Up. I was selling Zerrikanian alchemy to this man, and bombs, as you. And he looks around and is like, well, as the northern folk calls it, seeing that apparently either people here are from Nilfgaard, or he's not sure about Idrik and Ariella, but Ariella's a mutant and Idrik is casting fire from his hand, so my apprentice dropped the whole thing, and the bombs must have been a bad batch or something. It didn't kill, but it certainly froze us solid. I tried to send him for help, but he didn't make it alive. And the Lord Mayor is like shaking his head. I didn't want to pay the price that they were asking, and so they sought to lock me in here. I should have known better than to deal with these black dogs. And the envoy turns slowly to the Lord Mayor, and he's like, "You shut your tongue. I tried to get us all out alive. This is how you repay me. If I still had all my fingers in my good hand, I would."
I stop him and I'm like, leave the intimidating to me, please.
I just look over to the Lord Mayor as he's speaking and say, "You're lucky you have good guards who are worried about you."
Can I make sure that
Good for
can
them.
I see if the Lord Mayor's lying about
So the Lord Mayor, sure. The Lord Mayor is angry, but the Lord Mayor is trying to get you guys on his side. He's like, look, this was all a very poor plan on my part, and I got carried away by demonstrations of Zerrikanian power at a summer festival a few years back, and when I heard that these Nilfgaardian so-called alchemists, by the way, I'm moving my hands, but he's frozen solid to his chair, so he's just motioning with his chin. They were peddling secrets which I needed to defend myself from, and he motions to his desk, like to a pile of papers on his desk with his nose and his chin. He's like, after what the so-called gracious Emperor of Nilfgaard decided to announce, we all need to bolster our forces and make sure we are well ready for the inevitable backstabbing Var Emrys is about to
I'm gonna look over at
do.
the.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I'll go over to the papers too.
Yeah, I just look over to Ilana saying, "Can you, like, giving her like eyes? It's like, can you bring the paper over?" I'm kind of
Yeah.
Covered in ice.
Yep, covered in ice. I just go.
Covered in about that much ice.
Okay, she'll take out her dagger and like start breaking
Carving?
it.
Sure.
Yeah.
It takes a few minutes, and the envoy's like, no, don't. And he like lifts a hand to try to put it on your shoulder, but he keeps missing. His vision is probably so blurry that he sees like two of you.
I just look over this like, I don't get what is going on or what happened here. But you guys should be lucky that we even came here and that you are alive. The guards outside were extremely worried about you and how you've been gone for a couple days. So you both should put your differences aside and be glad you both are alive.
He says I should. The Lord Mayor says, I should really give a raise to Mezak. His loyalty knows no end. It's because of me. I told them not to bother us because, well, how good would it look if the Lord Mayor of Inholt and the surrounding area was dealing with a Nilfgaardian? Radovid would have my head. Not that we're not at war or anything. I'm not betraying the crown, and I'm certainly not betraying the North.
Look, I'm not interested in your problems. We're not going to report you.
How can I
Came
be
to
so
kill
sure
your
of that?
beast.
We killed the beast of Oxenford. We came here for a reward.
Huh. Well, I should thank the eternal fire that you happened to slay the beast at such an opportune moment. And that you are also so gracious as to free me and not slit my throat and make with all of my wealth. You are... And he looks to each one of you. He's like, I would have mistook you for bandits or opportunists at best, given your looks. When I should have been wary of black ones instead. No offense. He looks to Kahir. He says, but
She's like not listening to him anymore and wants to read the paper.
so the paper is a thinly veiled threat from Emir Varhamris. It is
Who's
an
that?
edict. The Emperor of Nilfgaard.
Cool.
The
Haven't got to that part.
okay, the black sun that dances on the graves of his foes, or something like that.
Some guy.
Also, Emir Varhamris, you know in Elder Speech, is Emir the Edgehog.
Aw, is he blue and run really fast?
That's what the fanfic would have you believe.
Okay.
No, actually,
what is
he
Turned into a hedgehog.
yeah, he was cursed and turned into a hedgehog by a rival a few years ago, and Geralt was the one that freed him.
Of
That's
course.
how we met the Queen of Sintra, and how eventually Ciri was born.
Right.
I can't tell if you're fucking with me.
I am not. He
Wait,
actually
really?
was a were-hedgehog. Yes, it's in the book. Just, like, read that part. It's Geralt and Mousak. And they freed him during, like, some sort of, like, tournament where the tournament went, like, too long, and he was to be, like, a human under the light of the full moon or something like that. It's been a while. But
I
anyway.
just got the last wish in today, so like, okay.
Well,
that's-
basically, for those of you that have played the game, you know at some point you make a play about a Doppler to try to get Dudu out of hiding, and it's like a quest
I've
in the
done
game.
that.
It is basically the story of Emir Varhamris, but you replace being a were-hedgehog by being a doppelganger. Anyway, all that to say, Emir Varhamris had an edict drafted, or at least, maybe not an edict, but, a threat to the kings of the north. Various monarchs, and the way the letter is written, it was probably copied over multiple times by scribes and sent out. Var Emrys basically orders the kings of Aedirn, Temeria, Kedwin, and Redania to cease fortifying their southern borders, to stop the skirmishes in his territory, to uphold the peace of Sintra, which was drafted 10 years ago. That the Empire of Nilfgaard has no desire to war with the North again. Too many lives were lost. But if the North keeps to their barbaric and unlawful ways, if they refuse to keep to their territories, then the North will burn.
So just, sorry, a clarification question with this. In the current time, because there's Aedirn, like Gorn, and then like Aedirn, is the main, like the first Aedirn, like
No, the Aedirn Gorn that you see here is the upper Aedirn.
right. So is Aedirn not currently controlled by Nilfgaard, or was it returned after the war?
It was returned after the war.
Okay.
Basically, the map you see here is the actual map of the territories on Roll20 for everyone. The map that we're using is the map as it is, the territories as they stand at the start of the game.
Cool.
So the upper Aedirn region, Velen and all that, is belongs to Aedirn, though Kedwin, the King Henselt, keeps trying to get, but that's like a spat between Henselt and Demavend.
Oh, too bad. One of them's dead. What?
Okay, sorry, I just needed to...
Well, if you announce it that way. But yeah, so that's it. But like Nilfgaard, the black line at the bottom is where the border was drafted by the sorceresses, the kings of the north, and Emir Var Emrys after the second Nilfgaardian war. So
Awesome. Sorry, I just need to make sure.
No, that's okay. So technically, what he's saying is like stop, especially Temeria, but also Verdun, and he sent out the message to everyone in the north to like stop doing what you're doing, otherwise, the north will burn. Thinly veiled threat. I don't want to cause any trouble, but you guys have been building a lot of forts around the southern border, and I know that a lot of people are mounting their armies or something. I don't really like that. The thing is he wouldn't necessarily know, except for Temeria, he wouldn't know the rest of what he's inferring in that letter, if not for spies or defectors in the north. But he's calling out all the kings.
This sounds like not our problem, honestly.
Yeah, well, you can go scurry back to whatever Dolblathana. But I have to defend my people here. I needed tools to defend my people, and well, now I know that alchemy can't be trusted, and Nilfgaardian merchants are just either clumsy or they tried to assassinate me in my own home.
That's the thing with alchemy. You just need the right.
Is he? So his argument, what he's telling us, is that he was dealing with Nilfgaardian
merchants.
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 So that he could then defend himself
against
from
Nilfgaard. Yeah, I mean that happens all the time.
That's a weird conundrum. But
He's buying bombs from Nilfgaard, so that if war gets to his comes to his doors, to his doorstep, he would have like something more than whatever amount of militia and guards he has.
I mean, there is a long history of people selling weapons to their enemies.
True.
In wartime, it's not uncommon. But I mean,
do I believe him?
You can make a human perception check if you want to get more tells on him. But as far as whether or not Idrik believes him, that's up to you as a player.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say, like, maybe next time, just go to an expert in alchemy. They probably would know how to make sure that this doesn't occur again.
I should have known this deal was too good to be true.
So I look at the merchant and I ask him, why did you not want us to let the Lord Mayor up?
I... And he looks at the younger person. He's like, we aren't supposed to sell these to the enemy. But I have a family to feed. He looks again at the younger person. He's like, we were promised that these bombs would sell for a high price and that they were soundly made by dwarven alchemists, but that is not the case.
Not an expert in alchemy. And I look over at Idrik and I say, it looks like more than a bomb went off here. It almost looks like there was an altercation of some sort.
And the young one sighs and says, Father, this has to stop. We came here to sell the bombs. That is true. And then we disagreed on the price. There was a scuffle, and he points to under the desk. And he's like, the bombs fell. One of them rolled under the desk and might have been lit up in anger prior to falling. We couldn't reach it in time. By the grace of the Emperor, these weren't as good as they should have been. And yes, 3 of them blew up. One even rolled down the stairs and probably blew up somewhere on the first floor. But they weren't enough to hurt us that much, though I don't think I'm gonna walk properly ever again. My father survived thanks to whatever God is actually watching over this forsaken place here. As I doubt the Emperor has his eyes on us anymore, not after what we've done. The Lord Mayor is lucky to be alive. That's the whole story, comrade. I see that you're... Huh? Sorry?
I guess I believe him now.
He says, you hold yourself with the countenance of a man of war. And you carry an impressive sword. Would you be a knight by any chance?
I am a knight of Nilfgaard from Vicovaro.
Then you're allowed to pass down a sentence on what happened, if that is your wish. My father and the father is like, I will not. We don't even know who he is. He could be a bandit dressed in one of our kinsmen. He could have slain a knight. I will only be tried by an imperial court, no less, if you believe the story of... Clearly my son is mad with frostbite. I have the will of a...
Good sir.
Lion.
This is Kahir Saradin Diffwin Bedwir, Knight of Vicovaro.
Make an intimidation check.
What? Oh god.
I mean, his name's long enough that you know he's legit.
Yeah, it's more...
And if you're able to say...
Actually, you know what? No, don't do it. Don't make a check.
If you're able to say it good enough and correct...
Yeah, that's it.
You intimidate them enough.
But also, because of how the name is written, and the fact that the way Ilona said it, There's a hard swallow in the part from the coming from the father, and he's like, "We're not in Imperial territory. This is not Nilfgaard. This is the lawless wastes of whatever hole this place is."
Here, pass your judgment and let's be done with this.
I think their stupidity has already punished them enough.
Well,
Let's at least get the ice thawed out first.
That's what they have their very loyal guards for. I think we have
that
a more pressing matter.
I agree, Ilona.
Edric is gonna like kind of turn around from the fireplace, and he's been channeling a lot of fire into like this ice, melting it out. Like he's got flames licking up his arm because he's still channeling fire, and like his eyes are now like kind of covered up in flames. And he kind of just you can see that he's been trying to like say something, but it's not really coming out. He just goes, "That is where you're wrong." And then he just Ayenye's like the older Nilfgaardian.
I think Kahir puts a hand on the hilt of his sword.
Can I try and stop him from doing that? Can I try and do a reflex check to see if I can stop Edric from casting that spell?
Would you know of Idric's hatred for Nilfgaardians?
I think
Between
we
the
all
two
know
of
of Edric's.
Well, I mean, we haven't.
Made it very clear. It was like the first thing.
No, but
They were
yeah,
like,
but
I
because
hate mages. Well, I hate Nilfgaardians.
yeah, but I meant because of their shared history. Maybe this is something that Idric has done in the past, and Ariella would be maybe aware that he would resort to violence as a first mean.
I think he would have. She would have known.
That's between the two of you. I don't know. I'm not.
You know, since you did kind of help me escape, so you would be privy to the entirety of my history. So yeah.
All right. So then, in that case, I'm gonna ask both of you to roll for initiative.
Roll high, Jillian.
Idric, in a snap, burns the Nilfgaardian, the older man, catches on fire.
Ilona will take out her knife and put it to Idric's throat.
I draw my sword and I shout out, "Let down your spells, mage!"
He's going to run downstairs screaming
Mm-hmm.
and probably tumble down the stairs. Just saying. And everyone's at Idric's throat.
Okay, his arm is now pointed at the Lord Mayor, and there's like still flames, and he goes, "Why should I? What gives them the right to live? They have committed unimaginable sins."
And you just committed an unimaginable sin. What gives you the right to live?
They've had. Their punishment was enough to suffer in this cold ice.
How many lives will they lead to the death of if I let them leave? They do not deserve to leave.
They would have been walking away in shame. They're already crippled enough.
Or selling more bombs to a traitorous mayor.
They've learned their lesson, Edric. You should know better than to let violence be the first answer. You must be calm, collected, and be aware of your surroundings. Have my words taught you nothing, Edric?
They've taught me that some of us actually have emotions. And he just snaps his fingers and the flames poof out. If he's alive, I will tend to his wounds, since apparently you all care so much for him.
Roll for your any damage. He might not be alive.
Yeah, 1 second.
He just wants
13.
to torture him. He just wants to shoot him with a fireball and then heal him, and then shoot him with a fireball and heal him.
A younger Edric.
He's still alive. He threw himself downstairs. He's rolling in the ice shards, of the wall of ice that was behind the door. So when it was shattered by Kahir, he's just rolling in it, so they melt, but they also help with the flame and the pain and everything, and that is 0 health.
Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't roll the damage.
So 5 for a D10 round.
It's a D10 rounds. But I have a 2-meter reach on it, so I don't actually have to touch him. So I just look over and I snap again, and he should heal all of his wounds.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. He passed out from the pain, but he's going to survive.
I think it's best that we leave now.
I think so too. We've already gotten our reward. We are talking about this afterwards. And she just goes and leaves.
The Lord Mayor is like, you should all leave.
Ilona still has her knife to his throat and is leading him down the stairs.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
All right.
Kahir sheaths his sword and says, "I'm taking one of those horses," and then walks down the stairs.
Look, these Vikavarian blades, they cost things.
Well, I mean, there's now only 2 of them and 3
That's what
horses.
I said. They don't need it, right?
Y'all get downstairs. The father is passed out.
Ilona will stop threatening Idrik.
All right. I mean, if you want, there are 3 horses plus buckwheat. I'm just saying.
I'm also taking a horse.
No, I'm not letting them. I'm not letting him take a horse.
Am I allowed to take my horse?
You can take your horse, yeah.
Why
No.
are you trying to stop me?
Because you do not deserve any good things from what you have done. You have already ruined these people's lives. You can walk.
Thought you, of all people, would understand.
And I thought you were different. But it turns out you're just another barbaric northern Dwan.
Barbaric? Barbaric is what they did to me. Barbaric is taking a child from his home after you've invaded his lands. You want to talk to me about barbaric? Barbaric is the last 10 years of my life locked in a cell. Call me a barbarian again, elf. And I will show you what the Nilfgaardians did to me.
Shall I show you
Are
what the Dwan did to my people? If I hated all Dwan because of what some of them have done to me and mine, you would all be dead. This man did not do that to you.
He traded in explosives.
I'm gonna
Dangerous alchemy.
stop this fight and just look at both of them saying, we are leaving. If you want to quarrel, it'll be far from here. Now let's go. And she just walks over to Buckwheat.
Kahir, I'm ready to leave now.
Would you like to ride with me?
I would. Where shall we go?
We have to head back to Farmer Gutsfield's farm anyway to collect my reward on that
You have
trial.
to head back to Farmer Gutsfields to get your reward.
Yep.
Send him my regards. I cannot abide to be with this man any longer.
Good. I'm glad we feel the same way. I'm glad you can see things as they really are. Come on, Edric. We have to get back to Oxenfurt.
Your money will be kept and waiting for you when you decide that you want it. Despite what you think, I am a man of my word. And then I'm just gonna walk away, since apparently I'm not allowed to have a horse.
No.
And you just walk while I'm on a horse.
Yep.
there's only one bridge to get out of
Yeah, I
there.
know.
So despite everything, you still have to awkwardly
Walk together.
Yeah.
I'll also look at one of the.
I mean, I'm assuming this has happened with the horses, and this is like about like where the horses are.
Oh yeah. But like afterwards, once you exit the courtyard, you sort of have to.
Oh.
I'll go and tell the guards that I'll be nice.
Yeah,
And tell
and
the
I
guards
think
what has happened, how it has occurred, and that the Lord Mayor should be fine.
Thank the flame, Mrs. He told us he shouldn't be bothered.
If you don't warm him up, soon he will die.
Well, you heard the man. Chop chop. And two of them go. The older guard and another one, they stay at their post on the bridge. They see you off. Thank you. He says, I tried opening the door, but it seemed locked, and I didn't want to attract the anger of the Lord Mayor. I thought maybe I thought the Nilfgaardians had done him in or something. We weren't sure. I should have acted sooner.
Walking away, just walking. Ending the conversation, walking away.
All right.
So, once he gets warmed up, he should be fine.
All right.
And I'll just say farewell, and I'll just ride off with Edric to Gutsfield to get my reward, and I'll send him Ilona's regards.
Speaking of Ilona, where do they go, Ilona and Kahir?
I don't know.
Just right off into the sunset.
What?
You can decide to ride off in a random
We're
direction,
gonna roll new
but
characters now. Oh, no.
yeah, that would probably be what's gonna happen. But if really your characters can't even until they get their payment, that could happen.
I'm sorry. I lost my temper.
I can understand what happened. I almost lost mine.
Just all of this anger and hate and violence.
I felt like you two were having a competition of sorts.
I'm just... Look. I do not speak much about the way that I am treated here in the north. Because it is a fact of life. It is just what I have to deal with. And it's true. If I took it out on every human I saw, well, we wouldn't be friends. It is just, I do not want him, I cannot abide him using his past wrongs to hurt innocent people. These foolish merchants were not a threat. All Edric saw was a Nilfgaardian.
I agree. He kind of stays quiet and contemplates it for a while. And then... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it is a very nice horse that you have.
Gotta decide a name for my new horse.
You notice as you're looking down at your horse, there's like a saddlebag. There's a the buckle on it has a very well defined crest on it. Probably comes from in Game of Thrones we'd say it's Castle Forge. Like it has the symbol of the crest of where it's made. But you recognize that crest as being the crest of Milan Ep Belhaven, the person who has your wife.
Oh shit!
Man, don't feel too bad about me lighting the guy on fire now, do you?
Well, he wasn't that guy. He was just like,
Him working for them.
yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not ape. Because brain. Ape is son of, so
Yeah.
it's a var that I meant in elder speech. I got confused in my fantasy language, and also in apparently real world language for a second.
Do you say this, or like, do I notice this as well, or?
I think I might not like say it all to Ilona, but I probably like say the name out loud, like as I'm like thinking it to myself.
What is that? What is that name?
It's the crest of the man who took my wife.
So, this merchant was working for him?
It seems so.
Huh. Would that have changed your opinions had you known?
I think not, Ilona. My grudge only lies with this man. And to be honest with you, the grudge comes more from duty than it does from heart.
Were you married to this woman, or were you just like betrothed?
I think betrothed.
But she's your betrothed. You told me you loved her.
I do. There's a part of me that always will. But I worry, is that love real, or is that love just beauty welling up inside of me, tricking my emotions?
Well, it is a love that is strong enough to make you go on this mission to search for her. Do you think you... What has changed? Is it just that you've been away from her for so long?
I don't think he answers. Not in a like I'm ignoring you way, but kind of in a I think you know what's changed sort of way.
You think that.
Right.
So then, where do we go from here?
Edric has my money.
All right. To Oxenfurt then.
At least long enough to get the coin that we're owed.
Yes.
Speaking of coins, lo and behold, Farmer Gutsfield's farm. As you're talking on the road, you arrive eventually at the farm. The farmhands are busy in the field. Gutsfield is there helping, trying to put a fence back up. He watches as you go by and waves. Is it resolved?
Do I at least get my money from him?
Well, I don't know. Do you approach him?
Yeah, of course I do, because I have to tell him that, yeah, we got rid of his drowning problem and his pig is dead.
The Hoff is dead?
Unfortunately.
Whoa. Woe is me.
Piece of misery. Can't you see?
Listen, good Master Witcher. I would pay you the full sum for the drowners, but that would prevent me from all the money I could have gotten with the Hoff. Now I'm not gonna have it. It is.
Don't worry about the money. You can keep it for yourself.
You've never seen a farmer shut up so fast. He's like, you are a blessing of Militele herself. You have a good day now. Thank you for everything you've done, and thank you for the drowners. I will not forget it. And he turns around and like immediately starts shouting things to his farmhand, like appear busy and make sure that you don't you don't try to push it any further.
I'll also yell, Ilona sends her regards, and I'll just leave.
He turns and Ilona's like, you guys are basically riding after them.
Yeah, I'm sure we caught up.
I just wave.
He waves.
I would imagine that we have like a little bit of time. Like you're like in the distance, so Idrik is kind of like after Ariel kind of like gives away the drowner killing for free.
Yeah, like she feels she feels bad for them. They've been through too much. Plus, she did get a big sum from the Beast of Oxenford, so.
Tell me something. Unroll. Our school Witcher is so generous.
We have our soft spots.
What about the others? There are other schools. What about that? You said you're not all gone.
Well, I wouldn't know. I've never met another Witcher. Only those from my school.
You hear stories, but stories are usually just that. Members of the cat who are just glorified assassins.
Well, I wouldn't know. Some stories are just lies with a little bit of truth in them.
You keep on trekking. Oh,
Sorry. They were going to hurt people. Weapons dealers.
It was an accident. It could have happened to anyone else.
No,
What happened to them?
you are missing the bigger picture, Ari. They were going to sell bombs to the Lord Mayor. The Lord Mayor would fund the new Guardian war machine inadvertently, and then he would use his bombs to inflict devastation on people in the Guardian and Northern Ireland alike.
Why would you think there'd be another war?
You saw the paper.
I was too busy helping thawing out the Lord Mayor in the fireplace. I couldn't see it.
Ilona would have showed you.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna
No,
ask.
you're not muted.
I'm not muted for you, but I was muted for the stream. I was gonna ask if Ilona had read the paper out loud or not. If she
Yeah.
had shared with
Yeah.
the rest of the group.
She would have shared it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but it's. I get.
Oh,
I know what you're getting at, but what you did was way too far. Even I know not to go that far into violence, and I'm a Witcher.
I've seen things since we last saw each other in action. My inaction causing misery and death, empowering people and evil because I was too drunk or too hurt to do anything. I won't make that mistake again.
That depends on who you don't want to hurt again.
Fair enough. We should set up camp soon.
I was gonna fast forward until you get to Oxenford because the trek isn't really eventful.
Yeah, I wanted to look at the bag.
But then yep. If there was anything you wanted to do before we get to Oxenford,
Yeah, I want to
let's
look
do
at
that.
because I was thinking about what he said about.
Check your mic.
Yeah,
Stuck
I
with
was.
Do we meet up and camp together?
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do.
I'll
Okay.
make sure that Ilona and Edric stay the hell away from each other.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ilona has a tent. That
I don't have a tent. I don't think so.
I think Ilona.
No, Ilona's the only one that has a tent in the group.
Ooh. Is there a bedroll on this saddle of this
Oh,
horse?
I do have a tent actually. I have a
If
tent.
so, I'm moving on up in the world.
You didn't have a bed. Oh my god.
I don't have one either.
You
so.
know what?
I
It's
have both. I have a bedroll and a tent. So
Kahir. I'll say yes. There has to be at least a bedroll.
Edric has nothing, so he's gonna sleep on the ground.
Good. He deserves it.
I'm not letting him in my.
So the
tent.
setup is there's a campfire and tents like on opposite sides, with Ilona and Kahir on one side, Ariella in the other,
I mean,
and far away in the
Ariella-
darkness is Idrik.
Ariella or Ilona has no problems with Ariella and would like speak to her normally.
Yeah, because I did not try and
'Cause
cast.
you didn't.
Guardian on fire.
Yeah, you didn't murder hobo anybody.
I mean, so here's the important part when you're playing Murder Hobos is you didn't loot the tower. You kicked down the door. You killed the NPCs. No,
He survived?
That's not true. You looted a horse.
I looted the tower.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got your Murder Hobo certificate.
We can't be murder hobos. I'm not a murder hobo. Nobody died.
one apprentice was already dead, but that's true. Nobody else was killed by your hand.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start like looking through my stuff when I'm in my tent.
Well, you're like unpacking your tent and doing all
Yeah.
that stuff, and as you're unpacking, you notice there's a tiny wooden box that falls down on the grass.
Edric is probably off gathering firewood and herbs at this point, so it's out of camp.
Yep, I'm just gonna. I get very curious. It's like I don't remember putting this in, and I'm going to pick it up and look at it.
Cool. Can you roll resist magic, please? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I was just gonna say, if he did, you'd be like, I hate you.
No, you open the box, and inside, wrapped in black Satan. Is that
Satin?
it? Satin? Yeah, black Satan. That's completely
Satin.
different. Black satin is a small medallion. A silver medallion of an owl that looks almost like your Witcher medallion, with and where the eyes would be, gemstones were inserted, an amethyst in one eye, and a lapis in the other one.
But I have a gut feeling who I think gave this to me.
I mean, you're looking around camp, you look at Alona,
No.
you look at Kahir. None of them have had time to... They've never met you before. They didn't have time to go by
Well,
a...
I know Kahir a bit because he owes me.
Yeah, but it would be a stretch, you think.
Oh yeah.
Plus, I mean, you look at the box, and like under the box it's written Made in Oxenford.
Yep.
It's also like old. Like it's clearly seen a couple of years.
Actually, now that you think of it, you've probably seen that box at Idric's place before. Like on a nightstand or something.
I'm just gonna look. When I say Idra come back, I'm just gonna ask him to cover my tent for a very private conversation.
Which at this point, Idric comes back, arms full of dead wood.
If I must. I thought we got over this already, but alright.
Yeah, I just lead him into the tent.
I go into the tent, thoroughly expecting to be chewed out some more.
I want to like see if I can listen in because tents.
Tents are very private.
Yeah, they're so
Um,
private.
all right.
You totally can't hear people talk.
My question out of game is this a fade to black conversation, or is it
I
a
think
conversation?
Oh,
It is.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was going to say, I don't think I wants to listen in.
So,
I think this is something that we can fade out on.
oh, I see. Never mind. No, she's
Yep.
well. No, she'll like Alona will still be like, "What is going?"
you hear
on?"
like whisper, 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 giggling, giggling, whisper, whisper, and then oh,
Yeah,
let's go do
she's like-
something else.
She just kind of like raises an eyebrow and is like, "Huh." Like, just like that escalated quickly.
In the distance, Kahir is focusing solely on his horse and how cool it is to have a free horse. And trying not to focus on what's happening in camp. So,
Yeah, I think actually no. If that's happening, like, Ilona would like very obviously start playing music.
Is it in the tune of Careless Whispers?
No, but like something to just like loud and noisy is like, I can't hear you having sex right now. Like, not that, but
I'm
like,
not 5 feet away from the tent.
look, y'all
But yeah.
have had roommates before. Sometimes you just gotta decide you want to listen to really loud music.
Yep,
yep.
It happens.
you're playing black metal on your harp. So, Fade in, fade out. We're gonna fade back in Oxenfurt. As you approach the lit candle. Was that it? Lit candle?
Oh wait,
Yeah.
I was gonna have
Oh.
a conversation in there. What happened?
Well, I mean, the
A post.
conversation was the fade, right?
No, it was gonna be an actual conversation.
Oh, I thought,
Wait.
is that a moment to fade, which meant...
I thought you meant like end, like a cliffhanger. That's what I thought.
Oh no, we all
Oh!
thought we were having sex.
Oh! Well, that changes everything.
Okay.
I was like, wow, all right, I guess we're just going for it. Like,
So, the whole thing was probably just Ilona daydreaming when she saw Idrik go into the tent with Ariella. And instead of whisper, 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 we hear the following conversation.
Okay, in that case, she's gonna listen in.
I'm so sorry for the misunderstanding.
No, it's okay.
Then let's
it's the
go.
best misunderstanding ever.
It's the best misunderstanding because of Witcher. Being
Mhm.
the Witcher, I was like, oh yeah, go in a tent.
Of
Earn
course,
a trading
yeah.
card. Like, that was just, it made total sense. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. It's all right. That could be. I mean, tension is tension, but I'm sorry for that. Let's
Okay, yeah, no. I go into the tent.
go into the tent.
Yeah, I just make sure that no one's watching.
I mean, Ilona is around. Is at the campfire. She's like about 10 feet away from you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna close the tent.
Sure.
and
That'll
I
stop
just-
the noise.
And I just bring out the box and it's like, when were you just gonna give me the courage to even give me this?
Oh, sorry, can you say that again? My headphones went blue.
I just put up the box and says, when were you gonna decide to have the courage to give me this instead of hiding in my bag?
When it comes to you, Ari, my courage tends to fail me.
I gotta admit, it is pretty nice. You've got the eyes right.
How could I forget them? Ari, I'm sorry for everything. I didn't mean to lie to you. There aren't excuses that I can give or words to make you forgive me.
She's gonna interrupt him at this moment, just put her finger on his lips and just goes, you have no fucking idea how long I've been waiting for you to say those words to me. You have a lot of making up to do. And then the fade out.
And then the real fade.
That's
And then the
exactly
trading
what I
card.
was thinking.
Hey, Kahir, by the way, the horse. It's awesome. It has a saddlebag. Inside is a flint and steel, soap, a badge of office that's been scratched and muddied. But you notice that the badge is actually the same crest of Milan of Belhaven, and it is in it's a badge that would belong to a sort of a deputy. Is probably the closest, like a bailiff type thing. There is also, I said, the soap, the flint, the badge, and forgot about the last one. And oh yeah, Gwent deck.
Yes.
Okay, but which deck? I gotta know.
Nilfgaardian. I mean, it's the only deck you're allowed to play in Nilfgaard.
Wait, really?
Every game's
I
a
have
mirror
a-
match.
I have a weird question.
Yes.
Is it flint and steel or is it a tinderbox?
It is flint and steel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a tinderbox. So this saddlebag is not like a huge, impressive saddlebag. That it's just like a small, and it has the other saddlebag on the other side of the horse is empty, but sort of very cool on the inside. So you figure that's probably where they kept. So like this one horse was probably the one to carry all the material. As I was saying, the last leg of the journey is uneventful. You get to Oxenford at around 11-ish in the morning. It's almost noon.
She's in a pretty freaking good mood, even though she cannot show it. But
Well,
she-
I mean, there's a smirk, probably. That's a given. And I mean, Ilona
one-
heard you.
It is, yeah, and like also, we all know what happened because you asked Edric to come into the tent, and then Edric did not leave the tent.
Before the morning.
Look, sometimes just don't say anything.
No, I mean, the
Yeah.
the tent flap was closed.
Oh yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was Leah, but it was like we all know what happened.
Yeah, you politely make it, politely make it seem as if you hadn't heard anything or whatever, ignored it. However, one thing you cannot ignore. There is a dagger planted on your door, Idric. A dagger with a parchment unfurled under.
Well, can I read it for
It is
him?
written in Elven.
Oh. Okay.
I can read that. I can read Elder Speak.
Can I read it?
Yep,
Or-
you can all read it because that's where we're gonna end tonight. But what you can read is Mage. We made a mistake. We need your help. We will pay what we can. My friends are in danger. Potentially, so is all of Redania. And it is not signed by anyone, but it's actually signed a coordinate. Or like a description of a meeting place. It says, under the old oak tree, where the river meets the swamp, look for the circle of stone.
Does that have any significance to me?
I mean, there are not a lot of stone circles around. You could probably...
Well, I just mean like, is that like, does it seem like it's a Scoia'tael thing? Does it seem like
it's the sort of like semi-encrypted stuff that the Scoia'tael would have done. But
Okay.
normally when the Scoia'tael, they like to make it known.
Yeah,
when
they like to be like, we're a Scoia'tael.
Yeah, so they would have probably like wrapped a squirrel tail on the dagger or something to like, haha, this is what we do. But in this instance, it probably is Scoia'tael, but whatever they did to ask the help of a human mage, or even the help of a private detective.
He is pretty serious.
Yep. And that will lead us into the other part of our story that I would like to call the Dark Young of the Woods. And that is where we're going to end today's episode.
Oh my god! Oh!
So,
We have to
Hi,
wait
everyone.
till when?
yes,
December
that's the
3rd.
thing. Because of PAX coming up, because of finale of the other show, we're going to have to take a somewhat long break. We're going to be back on December 7th, but from that point on, we're going to be weekly. So you're going to get twice The Witcher, twice the fun, and twice the drama, and twice the fading to black.
Yep.
I had tons of fun. Let's just go around, tell everyone who you are, where we can find you, all of that stuff. And I'll start with same order that we started the game with. So we'll start with Lauren.
Why?
Oh, okay, fine. I'll start with Manny.
Every time Lauren says something, and then you go to me. I love it. Hi, I'm Manny, aka Bag of Snails. You can find me here on Twitch at bagosnails.com. At Bag of Snails Twitch channel. Sorry, my dog needs to go to the bathroom. You can find me at Twitter at the link up above. Yeah. Ah!
Moving on to Jillian.
Yay! Hi guys, my name is Jillian. I'm known as G for Gaming X on Twitter and G for Gaming 1 on Twitch. Those are my links right there, so you can follow me on there for weird shenanigans and stuff. And on Tuesdays, I'm going to be back on with the Inquisition on the RPG Lab, so you can go check me out there if you'd like some more of my shenanigans. That's all I got.
You were like peak shenanigans tonight too.
Yep.
Proud of you.
You made up for like the part where you weren't there by like just going all out.
Yeah.
I told Manny that I would go full shade tonight, and I did.
You did.
Next up, Steven. Who are you?
Hi, everybody. Bye, everybody. I'm Steven. You can find me on Twitter at wolfwizard_, where I don't talk about potatoes enough, but I probably should. But I do talk about things like Dungeons and Dragons and video games and other stuff. So come on over and let's hang out and talk about things. That's all I have to say about that.
Cool. And Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm JL_NiceGirl on Twitter. I play games on the interwebs. I have a pinned tweet where all of that is. That will change very soon because things are ending and other things are beginning. It was just announced, this is not on my tweet, that I will be on Grimjack, a string of numbers that I can never remember, 2-1 something or other.
5-0. We all know
5-0.
who Grimjack is.
On Grimjack's channel, I will be playing Dungeon of the Mad Mage with a bunch of cool people, so that's gonna be fun. I do a podcast called Too Many RPGs. It is a show where Ethan and I talk to creators and fans of actual play shows about the shows that they love and why they love them. Our episodes come out bi-weekly on Tuesdays. We just released an episode talking to Occasional L about their Dungeon World campaign. It is very good. Talk about trees with souls and lots of fun stuff. So you should definitely check that out. And that's me.
And as for myself, I'm Simon at wandering_DM. Welcome to my channel. So, well, next Friday I'll be on Scraticus's channel. Actually, the next 2 Fridays to close Adventures in the Wild Blue, the Lady Blackbird campaign. So it's the Imperial finale and then the whole series finale right after that. And that's it. On Sunday, you can find me on Sunday morning on Pro Restarter's channel at 10 a.m. EST. That's on the schedule. What's not on the schedule right on there is the other game I'm in playing Bad Life Choice Kadern at... it's a Koros RPG's game, which is a sort of like sword and sorcery, late Roman Empire thing, and we play on Soul Bear RPG's network page. Soul Bear RPG's Twitch page. Oof, it's getting late, you guys. Otherwise, thanks for coming. I had tons of fun. I cannot wait to keep the story going and implicate your characters in all sorts of weird stuff. Anyway, thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks for hanging out in chat. See you in a bit.
See ya.